Hello, everybody, and welcome to No Content Wednesday. Otis, I swear to God, we're calling it No Content Wednesday from here on out because there's no content. In actuality, there's a new target extraction today. For those of us that are fans of bondage and/or bandanas and/or any of the Chinese, French, or German, I was going to say livelihoods, but that doesn't make much sense. Aesthetics, I suppose. You're going to be very happy with this one. I'm going to go to the extraction menu so we don't get Otis talking again. We have this target extraction, the first Walpurgisnacht, or if you're actually going to say the event name, Walpurgisnacht, because it's a German word, so I don't know why they didn't just have the whole thing be that. Maybe because it's hard to pronounce if you've never said Nacht in accent before. Mir geht, sorry, I have actually been learning German. I was gonna say, I don't remember the sentence anymore, so I'm not gonna bother. So yeah, we've got 3 new things. Teth, Regret, Meursault. We have Lobotomy, Ego, Regret, Faust as our 3-star, and Hook Office Fixer, Hong Lu as our 2-star. Notably, oh, they are in the shop. I was lied to. Oh, no I wasn't. Okay, so, yeah. These can't be purchased in the dispensary until the next Walpurgisnacht. That is because they need to get money out of us somehow, and well... so I mean, you know, I guess it'll work this time. So we have some extractions to be doing. I have roughly 280 extractions possible. Wish me luck, I suppose. I'm gonna do these first, because these are cheap, right? But I will be getting all of them, so I could lose some money tonight, I suppose. Hopefully not a lot. My luck with Ego specifically has been pretty historically good. I've gotten most of the extraction Egos from the single pulls, actually. When Faust's Telepole came out, I literally got it from the first single pull extraction I did. It was great. But yeah, that's clearly not happening today. So I'm just gonna throw this Season 2 guaranteed extract ticket at this, because I don't care about it. Like, if we get a new Season 2 3-star, I can just shard it. I have 1,700 boxes, by the way. Wow, that's a horrible range. Oh, there's 2 of them. And, okay. Very cool. And then, of course, we've got a guaranteed 3-star ticket, which I might as well also use, because I also don't care about it for the same reason. We're basically just going to be using our resources during the Walpurgisnacht extractions, because that's the only reason we ever need to use them. Somebody messaged me on Discord. Yeah. Alright, let's do it. Let's actually do these. I have 3 of the 10 pull tickets and 10 of the 1 pull tickets. And it's gonna make me use the 1 pull tickets first, apparently. That's fine. It doesn't matter what the order is. Hong Lu? Nope. This is emblematic of how my luck is going to go tonight, I see. That's fine. I legitimately don't care about these free pulls. They are worthless. Still no Hong Lu's. What? How? They're 50%. They should be the most common thing in the banner, theoretically.
와, 이 사무소에서는 아무렇지 않게 사람을 죽여도 칭찬받는 거죠?
Anybody else notice this? I don't know. His weapons are made by a workshop called Union Workshop, which is, I mean, it was in the first game. It was in Ruina, but we never actually got a name for the workshop. We just knew it was a workshop equipment. That'll probably not matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's a cool looking logo at least. Oh, we got a 3-star. It's probably not the new one, knowing me. That's fine, though. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So that's 41 pulls on the banner, and we get to start using Lunacy now. I have some Lunacy. I mean, it's whatever, right? You know? Gonna have a lot of Honglu shards, that's for sure. Look at that, 1 Honglu. That's beautiful. I mean, let's be honest, my luck was never going to be good. It never is, after all. Look at this. Look at these pulls. They're so terrible. I'm getting a lot of Meursault's base identity. It's very cool. I like the French just as much as anyone else, but man, I don't need it. Oh, I got the Ego! Pogs. That's the rare one.
구속구가 나의 폭력을 저지하기엔 턱없이 모자라지.
Chat, shout out the French. I was gonna make a very off-color joke, and I'm really glad I didn't. But of course, we are still 1 short. We need the 3-star now. Oh, look, there's one. I don't know why it's giving me a guaranteed 3-star here. It shouldn't. Like, you know. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not gonna be the new one. But hey. My luck is god-awful tonight. How many pulls have we done? This is like 100 now, right? I don't know, we'll see after it's done. I'm not stopping until I get the Faust, because I have to let people use it. The thing about IDs that you have to pull for is that it means I have to get them. Because people are going to want to test them, and yeah. They're going to be in my list forever, basically, because why would I ever take them out of it? 3 stars, there we go.
T0154 경류 환상체에 대한 작업을 시작합니다.
I still very much dislike Faust as a character. But I'm sure we can all move past that. Oh, I got a Don Quixote. Alright, that was 110 pulls. That was like half of the pulls I had available. And I didn't get through that much Lunacy, so that's fine. I think, honestly, that's pretty good odds. So, I'm not going to complain about it. Alright, let's go look at the stuff first. I'm going to look at the Ego first. Oh, yeah. They changed the UI. That's important to know. So now it's gonna be easier to use, question mark? I have no idea. We'll know in a bit. Alright, step 1, regret. Oh god, this is ugly. Oh, I hate this. And the reason I hate this is because I can't take an easy screenshot of this. But I'll get over it. Like, that's really disappointing. Anyways, regret at Uptie 3. It's a 20 to 30, which is a really odd rate. Hold on. I'm going to equip it to a level 30 ID so we can actually see what the offense level is. It is a Teth Ego, so it's a +2 offense level. Before attack, remove a random removable negative effect. I'm assuming by removable, it means ones that aren't tied to boss fights. The coin has on hit, inflict +2 tremor count. Inflict Wrath Absolute Resonance divided by 3 additional tremor count. So if you have Wrath Absolute Resonance, it's basically 1 more. Because Wrath is not that common. On hit, Burst Tremor. If the target does not have a stagger threshold upon Burst Tremor, deal Wrath damage by 6 + 2 times Wrath Absolute Resonance of the final staggered threshold raised. So at minimum, this is 30% Wrath damage. Equal to how much Tremor they had. The way that this works is if they don't have a stagger threshold at all, not if it staggers them, then they would have had a stagger threshold when the burst tremor happened, and so the effect wouldn't proc. is how I assume it works. It's 3 Wrath, 2 Pride, which sucks, by the way. That is a terrible combination, but I guess it's fine. It works with the new ID, right? Corrosion is a 30 to 20 with +5 offense level. Targets randomly before attack. If the unit has a negative status effect, attack weight +1. Notably, it is a single target, so attack weight +1 doesn't matter too much. On hit, Burst Tremor. Amount of stagger threshold raised by Burst Tremor increases by 40% of Tremor on target. If the target does not have a stagger threshold upon Burst Tremor, deal Wrath damage by the same percent of the final stagger threshold raised and reduce Tremor count by 1. And after attack, gain 3 bind and 1 blunt power up next turn. So, notably, the Awakening doesn't reduce Tremor count, which is really nice. The Corrosion does, for some reason, and it doesn't really matter because I don't think I'll ever use a Corrosion. The passive, Bound Wrath. This unit's leftmost skill on the dashboard loses 1 base power and gains 2 coin power. And at the start of the turn, if at 4 minus speed, gain 1 blunt power. I do not need to explain to you why this is insanely good. So, first off, let's look at the skill I have equipped that would matter the most with this. Ew, I hate this. Oh god. No, it's fine. Energy Current at Uptie 4 is a 5 to... what, 13? If I'm doing my math right, I believe that is correct. With this skill, it changes from a 5 to 13 to a 4 to 20. That is absurd. Obviously, you wouldn't be using this Meursault with it. The Meursault that best works with this, for some reason, is this one. Ironically. And so this becomes, from an 8 to 14, changes to a 7 to 17, which is still really good. And obviously it helps this the most. It becomes a 4 to 10. Oh boy, Drive becomes on par with all the other IDs. Great. But you'd probably want to use it with, like, Rhino or something. Wrath team is one of my favorite team comps in this game. And so I just approve of that.
일을 잘하기는 했죠. 일거리를 조금만 더 많이 가져다 주시면 더 활약해 드릴 수 있는데 해주실 거죠?
Honglu! I actually really like this ID's effects. Hopefully they're good. The air smells as pleasant as always tonight. It's musty and hazy. Now that's the back streets I know and love. The child pulled his mask down and breathed it in a lungful of air. The stench of slightly rotten trash, the exhaust fume smell of an unknown origin. The back streets reeks with a smell not unlike burning incense of stubborn industrial dust. The child seems to love it, though. It was not so long ago when all this child ever knew was the highbrow, lavish aroma of his affluent home. Maybe that's why he enjoyed the smell that most denizens of the city would gag at. He said it reminds him of the common people. You do you. I cannot agree with that statement, but I understand your sentiment behind it. The child was flanked by 2 other children. One wore a mask and hid her face under the hood of her parka. The other wore a mask that covered his entire face. They've been roaming around and causing trouble in the back streets together for the last few years. Sure, well, we don't have to agree on everything, right? As long as we can agree on one thing. That we all love ripping people to pieces. Watch your words. Fixers aren't allowed to kill for no reason. Don't want anyone listening and snitching on us to the rep. There are nothing but rats in our 500-meter radius. No one is here to listen. And if anyone does listen, we'll tear them apart as well. Right? Why should we gag ourselves? It's gotta be so frustrating living like that. Also, Ryoshu, didn't you have a lot of fun yesterday, And thanks to you, we ended up killing way more people than intended. Yes, which led to unscheduled muscle pain and lack of payment for our extra kills. It was inefficient. It was a rare opportunity. It's hard to come by material consistent enough to be in the same exhibition. I'll consider this incident sorry. What? That's not how English works. Was that even an apology? Haha. The child shrugged and let go of the discussion. There was no point in dragging it on. It wasn't going to change anything anyway. Besides, he also had fun yesterday. He certainly wasn't the one to talk. Well, if it's all the same to you, I think I enjoy getting paid a consistent rate for killing people. Who would have thunk that people like us, people from a killer syndicate, would be working for an office? Business cards and all. SOR. I normally try to guess what this is, but I don't want to. Picking up the back streets, dogs like us. Now that's one strange office rep. This is our niche. There are as many offices as there are syndicates. It is a reasonable choice for a businessman to prioritize a smaller niche over an oversaturated market. But I have a feeling that this office won't last long. We can tear people up into pretty little straps and hang them up all day, but it's not like we're leaving our business cards behind. There's no way to get the office's name out there. I agree. This canvas is not nearly good enough for real proper art. This office isn't going to get any new clientele beyond fledgling syndicates or other poor people who want to hire us for petty scare jobs. Will you propose an alternative then? Why would I? The child looked at the other innocently and cocked his head. It was as though he didn't understand where the question was coming from. Well, are we ever going to build a real resume to rise through the fixer ranks? Or are we going to suck up to the rep to get him to recognize us? No, we're just doing some temp work. When there's nothing more to get out of this office, we'll leave and saunter back to the back streets. That is also a reasonable suggestion. The child shrugged affirmatively. So did the bionic weapon on his shoulder. Well, I do enjoy these bionic weapons, but using these really drains my energy. I'm always famished because of it. That is an insignificant problem. Simply take more work, increase your earnings, and consume more calories. Agreed. Let's tear it up some more. The three children giggled as though a funny thought had crossed their minds. They were confident, on top of the world. Nothing could possibly stand in their way, or so they thought at least. Incoming contact. It's from the representative. Oh, new work? Precisely. It appears that our next job is at some library. Nice. Let's hurry then. The children leisurely strolled through the back streets. Where will these children go? Well, there is no way to know for now. I know the answer. They all died. Okay. So, I do actually like that we can see all of this here. That being said, I don't like these roll ranges. Okay, this is the good thing about the new UI, is that all of this is here. And everything else about it I hate. But I think it's just because it's new stuff. 140 HP, 3-7 speed, that's pretty decent. 27 defense level, nobody cares about defense level anyways. 140 HP is actually pretty low at level 30. We start with... where is the passive? Oh, the passive is listed here? Why? I want to start with the passive. 5 Lust owned. Upon defeating an enemy, gain 1 attack power up next turn. Once per turn. That's so garbage. Like... if the rest of the identity is good, then whatever, but this is so bad. Support passive. Mass-produced bionic gear. 5 Lust owned. When one ally with the fastest speed defeats an enemy inflicted with bleed, gain 1 attack power up next turn once per turn. This is even worse. 1 attack power up is not worth bringing this one over the other Lust passive, which is just inflicting more bleed. Thank you, Kurakumo. That being said, this is a bleed ID. But this 1 attack power up is negligible at best. It'll come up occasionally and it'll never matter. I guarantee you that. Skill 1, Track. 3 to 11, plus 1 attack power, or offense level rather, 2 coins. That's pretty average. On hit, inflict 1 bleed, heads hit, inflict 1 bleed count. Okay, so we've got a bleed count ID. That's very important. It is also a pierce ID, which is funny. This is on the second coin. Having more bleed support is cool. Bleed is one of the most supported archetypes in this game. That being said, it's also one of the weakest, because bleed is... it really only matters once you get up into the double-digit numbers with at least 5 count, and that only really happens in mirror dungeons, and if you decide to build bleed for the railway, I don't know why you do that. Skill 2, going first. This is a 4 to 13, which is actually pretty decent for a skill 2 with 3 coins. Plus 2 offense level. Why are we doing this? On use, gain 2 haste next turn. Coins 1 and 2 have heads hit, inflict 1 bleed. Coin 3 has on hit, if this unit is faster than the target, inflict bleed count equal to their speed difference up to 3. That's a lot of bleed count for a very easy to meet condition. Most of the time, enemies are going to be very slow, and that's because you inflict bind and they don't. As a result, this is going to be 3 bleed count more often than not. And that is very, very significant. Like, unironically, that's a big bleed boon. I don't know if this is going to be good, I'll be honest with you, because it is still bleed, and he doesn't seem to inflict a lot of bleed potency. Skill 3, Rampage, this is a 4 to 12, kind of crappy, even for a 4 coin, plus 3 offense level. At 8 plus speed, coin power plus 1, so that becomes a 4 to 15, which is better. And it's got a I can cook anything effect, deal more damage based on target's missing HP, plus 0.3% damage per 1% missing HP. So at maximum, you're getting, what, 27% extra damage? Something like that. Coin 1, heads hit, inflict, heal 1 SP per bleed on the target up to 5. Coin 3, heads hit, inflicts 1 bleed, and coin 4, heads hit, inflicts 2 bleed. There is the obligatory heals SP on Honglu, because that's always going to be there. This is like a pretty meh skill 3, I'll be honest. It probably does decent damage with this effect, but like, who cares? And this is Wrath Pride. Obviously, they're going to build it to cater to the new ego, which is fine. Evade, quickness, 3 to 13 evade. Evades are always good. On evade, gain 1 haste next turn, 3 times per turn. This is like Diet Chef Ryoshu, basically, the entire ID, with the only exception being it has no healing. Instead, it gains attack power up on kill. Honestly, this is a pretty solid 2-star. I don't think it replaces Kurokumo, because Kurokumo is just super reliable damage. And I don't think it replaces Ting Tang for bleed teams, because, unfortunately, Ting Tang is one of the best IDs to bring in a bleed team, because he just does so much damage. Doesn't inflict a lot of bleed, though. This is the Honglu you're going to bring with you if you're actually looking to inflict bleed, because Kurokumo does worse damage when the target has bleed count, and this ID inflicts a lot of bleed count. So yeah, I mean, it's good. It's decent. I don't think it's Mirror Dungeon 2 hard material, but it's not bad.
지휘팀 관리직 팀장 파우스트, 관리자님의 명령대로 녹빛 여명 실현 제압에 들어갑니다.
Initiating voice log. This is Control Team Captain Agent Faust, logging today's work records. My current location is the Lobotomy Corporation headquarters, upper layer control team department. It has been 9 days since the manager's first day at work. 3 days have passed since the information team department opened. The clerks are almost all here. It is quite busy. This voice log will resume when management work begins. Pausing the recording. Resuming voice log. I am currently headed to educate our new hires. Also, the manager has requested that I be assigned to manage the new abnormality we received yesterday. It appears that the personnel newly deployed to the control team has expired. It seems that we've hired a new employee. Oh, excuse me. Hello, Jacob. What is it? You are hesitating outside the containment unit. Ah, Team Captain Faust. It's my first assignment and I'm a bit scared. There is no cause for concern, Jacob. The abnormality assigned to you is likely to be the safest abnormality here. But its name here, look, it's really intimidating. One sin in hundreds of good deeds. Team Captain, what happens if I get unlucky and the thing decides to commit that one sin against me? I still haven't... Relax, that is not how this abnormality behaves. Peruse the abnormality details and conduct insight or attachment works, and nothing will happen. Really? Faust does not lie. Okay, thank you, Team Captain. We are running somewhat behind schedule. Jacob is one of the newest hires assigned to the control team. It appears he was unnecessarily intimidated by a brief description of the abnormality. I suppose this is a part of Team Captain's job. I am certain that the manager will be understanding. Then, I will continue this recording once I arrive at the containment unit. Testing. Resuming voice log. My arrival was delayed beyond my initial predictions. I had a run-in with Miss Malcute, and had the pleasure of exchanging a few words with her. She inquired about the work we had planned for the day, so I made an impromptu report. While it was unexpected that she wanted to know the expected completion time down to the seconds, I believe that records were helpful in giving her a satisfactory answer. She is a Sephiroth after all. She is responsible for an entire department. Her demands are not entirely unreasonable. Moving on. This is the containment unit of T-01-54, also known as the Forsaken Murderer. According to the prior records, as long as the work results are good, there shouldn't be any difficulties with managing this abnormality. Work records show that the employee previously assigned to this abnormality conducted repression works, which resulted in the overproduction of NE box. The abnormality's head transformed into something akin to a metallic substance, which it used to crush the employee to death. Not many would understand the process by which a person's head transforms from flesh to metal, but the ineffability is simply the nature of abnormalities. This record at least informed me that avoiding repression work on this abnormality would be preferable. Even if something were to happen, I have an ego suit resistant against red damage, so I foresee little trouble ahead. I will continue this documentation once the work is complete. This is Faust. The work was successful. The abnormality was observed muttering something to itself. It shuddered with anxiety and refused to look away from the floor. A proper communication was deemed difficult. It looked rather emaciated, so I attempted to perform an instinct work by providing it food items that humans find useful. The results are encouraging. I will record that instinct work as effective for this abnormality. Hold on. That humans would find useful. Why did you phrase it like that, Faust? Are you not human yourself? But I have not observed any signs of its head turning into metal, nor am I any closer to learning the mechanics behind that phenomenon. Considering this ego weapon was extracted from the abnormality in question, it seems evident that the abnormality's characteristics are at least partially carried over to the shape and particularities of the ego weapon. Ah, the siren. Warning, Ordeal of Green Dawn alert. Suppression personnel from all departments must immediately assemble at the bottom right elevator of the upper layer. The manager's orders have arrived via the devices. It is time for the ordeals already, then. Each employee is equipped with a device that displays orders from the manager in text form. The devices must be checked as often as the orders are rather frequent. I must go and assist them in suppressing this ordeal. I am not particularly concerned. Maybe this ordeal will be suppressed before Faust even gets there. The manager does not yet know, but the ordeal of Green Dawn is quite insignificant compared to what is to come. No. I must hold my tongue, lest I risk confusing any other individual who will be listening to this recording. Faust is determined to struggle, to survive the remaining 41 days of work. And I will leave it at that. Well then. Faust, ending the voice log. She referred to herself as I in a sentence. What? Oh god, numbers. Okay. Faust. New Faust. Passives first. Coerced regret. 6 wrath owned. In a clash, the target has -1 clash power if they have 3+ types of negative effects. So that's already pretty decent. When this unit is alive, enemies affected by Tremor Burst gain 2 defense level down once per enemy per turn. This is an aura effect. It does not just apply to her. It's just when she's alive, bursts inflict defense level down, which does help damage a little bit, but it's pretty insignificant, all things considered, especially since it's once per enemy. Mental Corruption. If at less than minus 25 SP at turn end, gain 2 bind and 1 blunt power up next turn. Why is this not in the Sanity tab? Like, I was kind of hoping it would be in the Sanity tab, because that's, like, where it would go, but oh well. Repression Work. 5 Wrath owned. In a clash, the target of the slowest ally has -1 clash power if they have 3+ types of negative effects. They being the target, not the slowest ally. Thank you, problem-solving card text. Okay, well, this is really good. If only for the first effect. The last effect literally will never come up because this is not a negative coin ID. I was really hoping they would make this a negative coin ID because I would like to see more of those, and this implies that at one point it was supposed to be? I don't know why it isn't. Anyways, I didn't look at her base stats. 167 HP is the average, so that's whatever. 3 to 6 speed is very average. In fact, slightly below average. And 31 defense level is a stat that nobody cares about. Like, it's very mid stats, but I have a feeling I know why. Skill 1, Sloth 4 to 11 is like decent. Coerced, Contracting Straitjacket, 33 offense level. Okay, we already have a problem. On use, gain 3 tremor count. On hit, gain 3 tremor count. And on hit, inflict 3 tremor count. So that's a tremor ID. It's a self-tremor ID. I kind of wish they would just, like, make another gimmick instead of doing this. Self-tremor is so awkward. Well, whatever. We gotta deal with it. Oh god, I've been recording for 50 minutes already. Jesus. Skill 2, Metallic Ringing. This is a 4 to 16 skill 2. Combat start. Spend 5 tremor count and gain 1 attack weight. Oh boy. I'm gonna get to complain after this. On use, gain 4 tremor count. Okay. Coin 1, heads hit, gain 1 tremor count, heads hit, inflict 1 offense level down next turn. So, if this is hitting 2 enemies, you're actually gaining 2 tremor count. Which is, like, good. The infliction obviously doesn't stack. Coin 3, though, on hit, inflict 5 tremor, heads hit, inflict 1 plus coin drop? Why? It's already an AoE, don't make it even more valuable, man. Like, without it being AoE, this is a fantastic skill too. And I understand that you need to have her spend tremor count somewhere, but why, in God's name, you make it an AoE that inflicts plus coin drop? Unleashed Violence. 3 to 18, first of all, which is really strong. Combat start, spend 5 tremor count, and gain +1 attack weight for the skill Maxx +2. Meaning that if this attack is used when you have 10 tremor count, granted, not super likely, because her skill 2 also spends it, this skill does more damage than Yasunyata Tedrapam. Automatically, because it has multiple coins. Why? Like, the AoE skill on Yi Sang isn't the most consistent thing in the world. There's no way to use it on turn 2 unless you have Molar Otis as a support ID. This can be used pretty frequently, I feel like, because skill 2 spends 5, yeah, but it also gives you more than that. I mean, it evens out at 5, right, because you lose 1 at the end of the turn. But, like, man. Clash lose 20 SP. Don't know why this is here. This was here on Effler Ego Yi Sang too. I feel like every Ego ID that we get that's a 3-star is going to have Clash lose 20 SP on their 3rd skill, no matter what. How frequently is this going to lose a Clash? Not often. Deal 3% more damage for every type of negative status effect on the target, up to 15%. Why? Like, why is this needed? On kill, gain 2 tremor count. Who cares? It's an on kill effect. It's never going to activate. Okay! Coins 1 and 2 are the same. They are on hit burst tremor, then deal wrath damage by 20% of the final stagger threshold raised by burst, up to 13 damage. Not a lot. Like, there aren't a huge amount of enemies that are weak to wrath, all things considered, honestly. It's... whatever. The third coin has the same thing, and then reduces tremor count by 3. So... I get what they're doing with this, and I hate it. Basically, what they did was... You know how, let's rack up some scores, reduces tremor count by 1 each time it bursts tremor. This skill effectively does the same thing, except it doesn't reduce until the last hit, which means that no matter what, you will always get all 3 bursts off. It's really strong, actually. Who would have thought that the way to make tremor good was by making it inflict elemental damage and not reducing it each time it hits? Oh yeah, and on an AoE. I don't know if it's just me, but has anybody else noticed that every event ID that they've released has been ridiculously powerful compared to the base stuff? At least the other stuff that we have at the time that it's released. When Chef Ryoshu was released, that ID was, like, instantly one of the highest damage dealing IDs in the game. Because Ingredient Hunt is an insane skill too, and also, I Can Cook Anything is just one of the highest damage skills in the game, and we're never going to get around that. That skill is ridiculous. Also, she can heal, because why not? Molar Boatworks Ishmael single-handedly makes sinking viable. Like, not only that, but functions insanely well with Tremor. Not that Tremor was good when she was released, but disregard that. Like, good lord. And then we have Molar Office Otis, who, on top of having 2 of the best skills in the game, in Slice and Daring Decision deals elemental damage on bursting tremor, and can roll up to a 20. And now we have this, which not only adds elemental damage to Tremor Burst, which, let's be honest, is the only way that Tremor Burst is significant in fights that enemies have more than, like, 200 HP. But is AoE on 2 skills, and the last skill is guaranteed to burst Tremor all 3 times, even if the target only has 1 Tremor count. It feels like they're incentivized to release an insanely powerful ID during an event, because that's when people will be playing the game most, and that's what people will be talking about the most during an event. I have an idea. If you want to get people to talk about the game, you should release some playable content. Sorry. Anyways, let me look at the defense skill before I freak out. 9 to 15. On use, gain 3 tremor count. Sorry, my brain had to do a double take because I saw offense level on what I thought was a block, but actually it's a no-sin counter. What? I think this is the first instance of this in the game. Okay? Why is this the ID that they decided that the counter doesn't need to have a sin resource until Uptie 4? Anyways, I guess we can go test these things out. Okay, I haven't gotten everybody equipped yet, but I'm seeing something I like in that you don't have to go to another menu, but I feel like this should be made more obvious. I don't know, maybe just me. It's really strange that it's set up this way. Okay, Now, I know they're trying to keep lore accuracy with the weapon because they are doing that, but this ID looks kind of bad. I'll be honest with everyone right now. This is just my opinion. Maybe people disagree with that. So yeah, this Faust has 2 AoEs. And that is the elephant today. We're gonna be losing some clashes this time. I don't care. Like, it's fine that you want to make event IDs. Really cool animations on that one, at least. And she's losing all of her clashes. Okay, that's fine. It's cool that you want to make event IDs powerful, because you want to incentivize people to get them, right? But, like, I don't know, man. Oh, we can already use Regret, so let's just do that now. It's a 0% corrosion chance, right? Yeah. Might as well do it, because it's gonna make him a lot stronger, right? Struggling, that's because she has paralysis, that's fine. Actually, it's not. She's gonna get staggered from this. That's really annoying. Oh well. Let's just pretend that she doesn't exist, how about?
이 구속구가 나의 폭력을 저지하기엔 턱없이 모자라지.
Yeah, that looks cool. I'll be honest, I've never really been a fan of Forsaken Murderer, personally. But, I mean, that's the one they gave us. At least it's like, it fits. I'll use the Corrosion too, because this team is really good at generating Wrath Pride. Yo, what? She's actually gonna win the clash. How? Okay, whatever. Now, okay, she has 2 of her best skill. You ready for this? This is gonna hit all 3 of them. Nobody else even needs to do anything here. But I'm gonna have them use Wrath Pride anyway. Okay, I don't know why that one went first, but that's fine. Yeah, so like, why did they give this to her? Jesus. Also, because she got 3 kills, she has enough to do that again now. Which is always fun, right? Okay. I need more ego resources to use the corrosion. Hopefully I don't just kill everything, because that is tempted to just happen. Thank you, Faust. Jesus. Like, this is insane, right? I'm not the only one that thinks that this ID is literally just power creep embodied in a physical form. Also, look at that coin power. I like the Meursault ego. I don't want to fool anyone into thinking I don't. But I have to use it now, which means I basically just can't have Faust attack at all, because chance to corrode, I don't really care if this hits my allies. Let's be real here. I haven't been looking at Hong Lu at all, by the way. Like, he's fine, obviously, but, he's not the star of the show today, clearly. Like, also, this is... Look at how much tremor count she has. Nice heads roll. It's fine. I like that the animation, like, lasts longer on that one. It leads into the "this is insane" bit. Right? Okay, but look at this. Okay? It's supposed to be a drawback that you need tremor count for this skill, right? You're supposed to have to, like, fuel it. And get it consistently. But all of her skills give her more tremor count in one way or another. Meaning, you're never going to be short on AoE with her. It's just not going to happen. You're never going to need it. Because she'll always have enough tremor count after, like, turn 2. And honestly, I don't like that. It feels like bad design to have an identity that's this powerful. Just by itself. There's no need for you to construct a team. Right? you just throw this ID into the party, and she does all the work for you. Granted, I will say they're making it so that most people aren't gonna have her. Well, newsflash. That's not how this works. You gave us an ability to loan out IDs. Everyone's gonna have her, because I exist. Anyways, let's watch this animation again, why don't we?
탈출 개체가 정리되었습니다. 탈출 개체가 정리되었습니다.
Like, it just feels... I don't know how to phrase this.
경보에는 익숙해지시는 게 좋을 겁니다.
Like,
아직 50일까지 많은
is it reasonable
파우스트는 알고
to
있습니다.
have an ID that deals 61% of your party damage? And a party where I used ego twice on the same person, and he ends up being second by a factor of 4. Like, come on. Blade Lineage Yi Sang does a lot of damage. He came in last. I don't know how that, probably just because he wasn't attacking enough. I don't know. It feels unfair to use this in a game that's pretty easy, all things considered. It feels like you've just added an easy mode button. And like, N. Sinclair has existed for a while, and he's really strong, but he doesn't have attacks that automatically target multiple enemies. I'm assuming they fixed that bug, by the way. I have no idea if that's true, but like, look at this. She's also the only one who took damage, because she lost the clash on first turn. Good lord. Other cool things they added, they gave us the Line 2 big banner, and it's cool. I guess I should mention that. Let's look at the Uptie force for these things, starting with Regret Ego. Before attack, remove 2 status inflictions, inflict 3 tremor count instead of 2. Doubles the wrath damage dealt. Okay. Hold on. And then... Why does the... I mean, it gains an additional attack weight, sure. Why does this become worse? Why does it change from a 30 to 20 to a 30 to 15? Like, why did you do that? Increases by 50% of tremor. Who cares? And then this doubles again. I mean, the awakening becomes better. The corrosion actively becomes worse. You don't need this to be on Uptie 4, because realistically, you're using it once to activate the passive, and then you're never using it again. Because this passive... I mean, Meursault's already slow, so 1 blunt power-up is pretty frequently going to happen. And 2 coin power and everything. Granted, it's only on 1 of his skill slots, not that that matters, because in most fights you're going to only have 1 anyways, where that's important. This is just insanely good. This is an auto-include. And I want to just say, as the guy who defends Screw Loose Wallop, yeah, no, Screw Loose Wallop doesn't even compare to this. Let's be real. I'm not even going to try to argue that. Track gains at 2+ haste, final power +1. It's really weird that it goes by how much haste you have, but you automatically get 2 haste from the skill 2. So basically it becomes a 4 to 12, which is actually a pretty good skill 1 if it has 2 coins, so okay, fine. Going first at 6+ speed, coin power +1. If you've used it once, this is pretty likely to be activated. It's like, what, a 1 in 5 not to be? And that becomes a 4 to 16. That's a really good skill too. I like it. For a 2-star, this seems pretty balanced, all things considered. And this can inflict an additional bleed count. Cool. Rampage at 6+ speed instead of 8+, coin power +1. And it increases the percentage damage so that you can get up to, what, 45 No, that's not right. 49.5% if the enemy has exactly 1 HP. That's a lot of increased damage. Doubles the amount of healing you can get from that. And the on-heads hits become on-hits, but this is still not a lot of bleed. You use this for damage, you don't use this for bleed. Quickness gains if target has 7+ bleed, gain 2 coin power, which is a 5 to 15 evade is not bad. 7+ bleed is an absurd number. For the record, I could uptie this right now. I don't want to. I don't really... This ID becomes a hell of a lot more usable at Uptie 4. Like, it does a lot more damage, it becomes a lot more consistent. It's just overall a significant improvement. And realistically, this is what you should be getting from Uptie 4, so like, this is good. I like this. This ID feels on par with what an ID should be at. A 2-star ID. And I like it quite a lot. Its Sin Generation isn't great. Wrath, Lust, Pride. Like, Pride still doesn't have a payoff. It will have a payoff once we get into Season 3, but don't worry about that. But what else? What are you feeling with this? You're feeling the burn ego. Whatever. That matters on Ishmael and Ishmael alone. I guess you feel 4th match flame on Ryoshu, which is nice. But yeah, that's pretty good. If this gains anything at all, it's absurdly broken. Clash Lose gain 3 tremor count. Is that necessary? Like, do we need that to be there? This doesn't matter, right? I mean, it does sometimes. This isn't a tanky ID. This is like just an ID. You don't want to be losing your clashes, so this really isn't going to affect it too much. It's just like, it's the Mario Kart logic. You are in last place, so the game gives you a blue shell. You don't need this for consistency. Like, she gains so much tremor count as it is. Spend 5... Oh, so it makes it cheaper. Wait, no it doesn't. Wait, this doesn't change at all. Why is this highlighted? What? Okay. The heads hits become on hits for the plus coin drop and the offense level down. Because we needed that to be more consistent. Deal 6% more damage for every type of negative effect on the target, up to 30%. Does this really need a damage up effect? Did it really? It already inflicts a negative status. It's a guaranteed 6% damage. Oh wait, no it doesn't. Equal to 30% max 20? I think it was 20% max 13? So this is upping the damage of this significantly. Oh god, we have a combat passive enhancement. Okay, first off, it doesn't need any of this. It's already broken. It's already in its own tier above everything else. You put this in the triple S tier. Like, I don't think there's very many IDs that fit into the double S tier. I think, like, crap. Molar Ishmael, Efflorist Ego Yisang, N-Corp Sinclair, and probably Reindeer Ishmael too, all go in... Oh, no. Rabbit Heath is the other one. Those all go into the double S tier, in my opinion. And this one is the first ID in the game that I would put in a tier above that. Because it's just so ridiculous. Anyways, the counter becomes Gloom. Doesn't gain any power. Doubles the tremor count gain on it. For no reason. Like, also it becomes Gloom, which doesn't really matter because this ID already doesn't feel Fluid Sac. But it gives her an ability to get Gloom for the team if you really don't want to use your skill 1. This gives you more tremor count. You just have to take some damage for it. Coerced Regret. Oh my god. 3 times per enemy per turn on the defense level down aura. And The clash power caps at -2 instead of -1. So, not only is this ID the best ID in the game, it becomes significantly better at Uptie 4. Who thought that this would be okay to add to the game? Like, I get that if you don't pull it in the next, what, week? I don't know how long the thing is lasting. Let me just check. So you have 2.5 weeks. I'm guessing because that's the day that the new chapter comes out. 2.5 weeks to pull it, and if you don't get it, you have to wait about 3 months. Because they said they were going to do Walpurgisnacht once per quarter, and that means that they are doing it once every 3 months. Roughly. And you can't purchase the new IDs or egos until the next Walpurgisnacht, and you can't purchase them at all unless the event is running. I'm not going to call it an auto-win button, because there's a couple fights. It's like the most win more... It's not win more, because you don't have to be in the lead for it to be good. I don't know how to describe this. I've never seen something introduced in a game that has so much more power than the rest of the cast, in a game that already has a cast with some absurd power levels. Like, we're just looking at Ting Tang Hong Lu, we're looking at N Sinclair, we're looking at Rabbit Heathcliff. All those are insanely good. And then this dwarfs them in terms of power level. Like, I don't know why I'm complaining about balance in a PM game. This is the same company that gave us Mio's Prowess and an ID that has infinite speed. But, like, when they did that, they balanced the game around this. So are they going to balance Chapter 5 around you having this ID? That's what I'm worried about. Because then, yeah, the difficulty's really high. And I like difficulty in games. And you have this ID and the difficulty just goes away. That's not fun. Like, if you want it to be a challenge, make it a challenge. I don't even know what I'm complaining about. Somebody can probably make sense of this. Let's look at the lines that it gave us. Phrases. We have currently moving to department. I have a feeling that blank won't last long. This straitjacket isn't nearly enough to hold my blank back. I like that one. Word. We got control team, violence, hook office. I think it's funny if it's some old guy. The straitjacket isn't nearly enough to hold my some old guy back. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, this is probably the Faust you'd want to use in the railway anyways. There you go. You can have this one on me. I'm changing this too, because New Hong Lu came out. New Hong Lu just dropped. Shout out to that guy. Why do you have no ego equipped? The heck? Did it unequip all of the ego on these? No. I don't know why some of them just don't have ego equipped. And then what was the other one? The other one's regret. And this is insanely good too. Regret is insanely good, but I don't consider that to be game-breaking because it's an ego, and ego are just, like, kind of not useful in the story at all, pretty much. Only when the boss has a big attack that you can't beat otherwise. I don't know, man. I feel like most people are gonna agree that this level of power on a new identity is unacceptable. And we've had a lot of really good IDs. But man... That's it. I don't have anything else to say. Like, I got really excited because they showed... Here, I can actually bring it up because it's in the game. If we look at this, it's going to be somewhere else. Guide. There it is. Let's see. Did they remove it? Oh, no, it's here. WalpurgisNICHT is an extraction event where ego equipment from Lobotomy Corporation, ego pages from Library of Runa, certain guests from Library of Runa, and in the future, characters from the Distortion Detective may appear. It is an extraction season where various characters and elements from the wider Project Moon universe appear as identities and ego. While the periods between these events may vary, our current goal is to hold at least one WalpurgisNICHT event every quarter. In future WalpurgisNICHT events, we plan to add event-specific stories and unique combat encounters to the game as well. This event was planned to demonstrate interesting scenarios involving numerous characters and stories that have appeared in the expanding Project Moon universe, such as abnormality hunts, with specialized teams made purely of identities using Lobotomy Corp gears. Please look forward to future events. No. Okay? You don't just get to drop... We wanted to have fights in this. And then not give it to us, right? You're just disappointing everybody by saying this, I think. Because, like, this game is content-starved already, man. Don't tell us that you wanted to have more content and then didn't get to it. Because I was excited. I was like, okay, we're gonna have a Forsaken Murderer fight. Because that's what they were kind of hinting at. And then we just got nothing. This doesn't even really qualify as an event in my eyes. You're just adding some new. This is just another banner. I don't mean to be so negative, right? The hook ID is cool. Regret ego is cool. Regret ID just upsets me, and this also upsets me. And I don't know. This is going to be a long one, by the way. I've been recording for an hour and a half. And I have to fit in the last cutscene, too. The one that we got last week. Because it's not got anything to do with... It's all very clearly leading up to Walpurgisnacht. It's got nothing to do with... It's got nothing to do with Dante's notes. I'm doing the same thing I did with that last time, by the way. I'll read them all the day before the new season comes out. And post that video. Then, because I don't want to read it before the new season is out. Also, aren't we only getting 2 weeks of Dante's notes? I think they said, which is like, whatever. Nobody really cares about Dante's notes, anyways. Anyway, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. Happy no content Wednesday, everybody. Subscribe to the video, like the channel. All that YouTube stuff that nobody really likes to put in the video, but we have to ask for it because otherwise people won't do it, and so the channel stagnates and we don't get to grow. I'm being very negative right now, it seems. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because I'm still a bit under the weather, as you can probably tell from my voice. This is just what my voice sounds like now, I guess. But, like... I don't know. Something about this, it just doesn't feel right. So, I hope you enjoyed it anyway. I hope you enjoyed me complaining for an hour and a half. If you did, good for you. Give yourself a pat on the back. This is a long one. I know I'm asking a lot of you, sitting through all this garbage. But, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go get some sleep. Because this has just been something. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good rest of your weekend. I'll be back when we have some more stuff to do. I guess I could address... I'm milking the shit out of this outro. I haven't been posting very many videos because I've been focusing on college. I gotta get 2 essays done this weekend. And they're both essays that I really want to write, to be fair, but it is a lot of work. Just getting to sit down and work on them. But yeah. Have a good rest of your day. Bye! Why the heck was that? Okay. I hereby confirm today's close of business for the sinners. Whether we're riding the bus through a forest or navigating the bus boat over a vast lake, our daily routine changes very little. Thank you kindly. Starting now, you will all be given a maximum of 12 hours to partake in sleep and rest. The duration is subject to change. Have a good night. The usual hubbub followed by the usual leisurely idleness. I guess I'm not the only one starting to enjoy these normal routine days. It wasn't by our choice, though. By now I thought we'd be sailing vigorously across the waters toward the Lobotomy Corp branch located somewhere within U-Corp. But here we are, unable to leave the coastal side of the Great Lake, dawdling and twiddling our thumbs. I thought it was supposed to be U-Corp's district. It's not in U-Corp. But okay. Well, it's not like there's been an accident. While Faust didn't elaborate, she explained that we had to wait for now. If I were to hazard a guess, we were waiting here to complete some kind of an entry procedure like we did at K-Corp. Either that or we're waiting for someone, probably the Before team, to get in touch with us. Which brings us here, surrounded by nothing but endless water. The sinners chattered about inane subjects before complaining about this immense boredom. But deep down, we were all exhausted from the unending onslaught of physically and emotionally draining happenings. Deep down, we all knew these leisurely days would not last. So we each elected to enjoy this brief maritime respite in our own ways. His favorite way to do that is by throwing up. If thou needest mine assistance, as I have repeatedly made myself clear, I am quite alright. Thy countenance, returning the contents within thy stomach to the lake with such vigor, saith otherwise. Except for Yi-Sang, who had a surprisingly low tolerance for seasickness. This voyage was proving to be rather uneventful. Yi-Sang, the day's over. You can go back to your room now. Just want to throw up in his room, though. Oh, shall I finally be freed from this suffering? Seriously, I told you that you could rest in your room if you wanted. Our fellows must also have their share of suffering. I cannot, in good faith, seek comfort only for myself. You're the one with the biggest share of suffering right now. While I wish that he'd be more reasonable with himself, I could see where he was coming from. I thought better of it than to try to convince him otherwise. I instead chose to help Yi-Sang to his room. I thank you, Dante. Then, until later. I waved at him and watched until he stumbled into his room and closed the door behind him. Then I shall seek myself respite as well, Manager Esquire. Yeah, rest well. Don Quixote walked into the same door that Yi-Sang had walked into. I could get a blurry glimpse into her room over her shoulder. I couldn't get a good look at it, but it was certainly not the same room Yi-Sang had walked into. I see these doors every day, but I still don't get it. I should probably be used to this by now, but it's still pretty fascinating how the rooms changed based on who opened the doors. I turned, leaving their shut door behind, ready to return to my room. Oh yeah, you can actually see the numbers on the doors are for the sinners, and there's 3 per door. Wait, 3 per door? That doesn't add up. That's 18. Oh. That looks fun. Oh, this is the mirror dungeons. Actually. There's a door immediately to the right side of that demarcation of the corridor we're not allowed to cross. Within that door is a space somewhat different from the sinners' rooms. And there were the wooden door to my room and the metal door leading into the mirror dungeons. The doors leading to the Luxcavation dungeons and the recently opened door to the Refraction Railway also came into view. No new doors, yet. For no reason in particular, I creak those doors open and take a quick peek inside to see if anything changed. Well, never actually managed to catch any changes myself, but who knows? Maybe I'll notice something worth keeping to myself. Which I should probably report to Faust. Something must have caught wind of my rather mischievous thought. An ear-splitting siren blares all the way here from the other end of the bus. Blimey, what the hell is... Oh boy, this again? ME, kill the volume. I spun around to face the other side of the corridor. The sinners, alarmed by the noise, were one by one peeking out of their rooms. They were used to this siren by now, but that didn't change the unpleasant fact that their sweet private hours were disturbed. Well met, Dante. Let us observe this disturbance together. Okay. I accompanied Faust to the helm. She fiddled with a few buttons and shut off the alarm. Incomprehensible, complicated-looking letters began to fill the round screen. Is that a new room? Even Faust needs a moment to decipher. Right. The siren always comes without warning, and with it appeared the mirror dungeons, the luxcavation dungeons, and the refraction railways. I don't know if it's relevant, but I didn't see anything that would indicate activity when I checked the railway door earlier. It is unlikely that anything new would appear from that entrance. I find it difficult to believe that the next line would arrive so soon when the glow of the door leading it to line 2 has yet to go out. I guess you're right. The first railway really took me by surprise when it appeared. A new door had appeared before us, its edges shimmering with a blue glow, and when we entered it, a mysterious vehicle was just sitting there, waiting for us. Its appearance somewhat resembled that of Mephistopheles, but it was also patently clear that I'd never seen anything like it before. An odd feeling. I see that your first encounter with the train has left a strong impression, Dante. Well, I recall that you had a rather violent reaction when I entered the train to observe its interiors. Come on, I wasn't the only one that freaked out. Everyone did. What if that thing left the station before the rest of us got on? Was what I wanted to say if Faust hadn't already turned around from the screen to which her eyes had been metaphorically glued for a while and walked away. This wasn't it, then. No, this particular volatility is not something we can utilize. Right. I thought it was an awkward time for a new door to appear. Too soon. The dungeons and the railways appeared at awkward times as well, Dante. I recommend that you refrain from setting into a premature conclusion. A new variable may present itself at any moment. Moreover, if this volatility has triggered an alarm in Mephistopheles' engine, then it naturally follows that a new door has appeared at an indeterminate location down the corridor. This may reveal a space from which one could never return. It is best that we keep track of these incidents. Even Heathcliff won't do anything like that again. Probably. As per my last advice to you, a premature conclusion is... Regardless, no serious issues have been detected at this moment. It would be most apt that we enjoy our remaining rest period. Now, if you will excuse me, rest well, Dante. With those as her parting words, Faust disappeared into her room in her usual manner. Left alone again on this boat, I looked at the numerous letters displayed on the screen. Numbers, unintelligible letters, drawings and symbols depicting something. I had to shake my clock head after staring at that dizzying sight for a while. I wonder if this is how Yi Sang felt earlier. Starting to feel nauseous. I was barely able to hold back the vertigo from setting in. Time to saunter back to my room. Let's turn in early tonight. Another day, another prolonged and dreary period of waiting, and some more waiting for something to happen. Of course, our bus boat was still floating on the coastal Great Lake. Voices of discontent among the sinners started small, but they have been growing increasingly incessant as of late. Ah! Holy crap! All of a sudden, an ear-splitting siren echoes throughout the cabins. It's that alarm again, warning us of a volatility in Mephistopheles, but it was much louder, much more painful than the ones we've heard before. And this time, it wasn't the only thing that assaulted our senses. Huh? We've never had flashing lights like this before, right? What is it this time? The hell did you feed this bloody rickety bus? Ooh, this must be a signal that the long-awaited adventure is finally nigh! Is this what we've been waiting for this whole time? No. Virgilius frowned as though he sensed that something was off. He turned to Faust. It was one of those rare occasions when I could sense the slightest hint of confusion from him. Wee woo, Mephi's blaring and crying. Mephi sick? What is this, Miss Faust? I wasn't informed about a siren like this before. First, a correction of falsehoods is in order. Mephistopheles is not bloody rickety, and eating is not part of its behaviors. It does make infrequent use of the enkephalin supply gear installed in the engine for fuel, but that is of no negative consequence. Even if it was, whatever issues that may arise can handily be repaired after a proper total disassembly. That was just a figure of speech! So what's this now? Sounds like the bus is about to explode. To label Mephistopheles as some bloody rickety bust completely disregards the amount of pain and effort Faust dedicated to designing and... Heathcliff, if you don't take it back, I don't think she's ever going to stop. Haha, seriously? Yeah, Heath, take it back. The bus might actually blow up before she explains anything. Ugh. I take back what I said earlier. I cannot comprehend what you are attempting to take back. Your rather abstract reference to this unknown concept that you supposedly mentioned earlier is hardly clarifying. Anyway, allow me to list the specifications of screws used in Mephistopheles' construction that make this creation so impressive. First, fine! I take back what I said about the bus. It's not bloody rickety and it doesn't eat. I'm sorry, alright? The cabin briefly echoes with his cries, then a brief silence. I think I saw Faust flash the briefest grin of satisfaction. Good. Is the clown show over? This juvenile, tedious exchange is testing my patience. Yeah, it's a bit different from the usual alarms. Don't think this one's for a new door. It is quite simple. The night is here. What do you mean? Thanks, Ryoshu. Very good insight. That's what she said. Talk or I snap your... Walpurgisnacht is here, it seems. You could at least say the whole thing in German, you know. The night is not here. That is very apparent, at least in this coastal area. The name does not refer to the time of day in which the sun moves beyond our line of sight. And it appears to me that, by that designation, you are referring to a certain phenomenon. Yisang seemed to be doing a little better now that the waves had died down somewhat. I am indeed. I am certain that all of you are most familiar with the fact that extracting identities and ego from mirror worlds is one of the many functions of Mephistopheles' engine. But its reach is rather limited. Even as it has expanded over our journey, we have yet to reach mirror worlds that are too far from our own. Is this the Golden Bow's doing? I noticed that it was fishing up more and more new things the longer our journey went on. Broadly speaking, yes. You could say that. Dante and our collective experiences gradually expand our range for extractions. Normally, extractions require a certain resource, but there were times when the identity cards appeared out of nowhere. You recall them, Dante? Yeah. Some of them just randomly popped up out of the engine. Wait, slow down. The hell's an identity card? Oh, you still didn't know? I'm jealous of you, Heathcliff. You have a talent for ignoring anything you don't care about. You looking to get your head smashed in or what? Right. Knock it off, you guys. Guide Bud's giving us the evil eye. There, you know, the things Manager Bud pulls out of the engine from time to time. Those little rectangular objects with our alternate world. Wait, was it mirror worlds? Anyway, it's those things that depictions of ourselves, other selves on them. Yes, the things that look like mahjong tiles. I thought they looked a bit like wafers. I believe their denomination comes from their appearance as cards that contain identities. Thus, it naturally follows that they are named identity cards. Nice. So we're using those rectangular toys to transform into our alternate selves? I never used them before. Yeah, you have. That's because I'm the one using them. On the device it issued to Dante are indentations through which identity cards and ego can be inserted. They are reflected when we participate in a battle. Oh, so that's what they were fidgeting with before every fight. I could tell from his flabbergasted expression that none of it had ever even occurred to Heathcliff. On the other hand, Don Quixote wore a somewhat forlorn expression. What's wrong, Don Quixote? Well, Is this not about time when Ishmael would intrude upon this conversation and denounce Heathcliff with biting words such as, "You still didn't know? That's just like you. This emptiness weighs heavily upon mine heart." Oh, you're right. Something was missing from this whole convo. I knew it. You're right, daft bastards. Enough. We're not getting the information we need. Miss Faust, please explain the present situation. What are these green lights? Understood. If we take into account the case of identity cards Dante received without spending any lunacy, we can draw a conclusion that the Mephistopheles' extraction has an element of unpredictability tied to its uncertainty. The hell is she blathering about now? If this item is of your design, to say that it has an element of unpredictability would indicate that. Correct. Enkephalin fuels the engine, yes. However, extractions and reconstructions utilize chaos. Well, in easier terms, you could say that it uses the concept of possibilities itself as fuel. Our extraction range grows when we are able to clearly observe specific possibilities in the infinitely branching mirror worlds. During this period, however, the borders between the mirror realities are entirely shattered. Using the present as our anchoring point, it could be said that our current extraction range is approximately 3 years to the past or the future. During Walpurgisnacht, however, that range grows to about 10 years or even more. In that case, thou meanest to say that identities of prominent fixers from times past may grace us with... Theoretically speaking, yes, but each Walpurgisnacht has its own peculiarities. It will not let us reach into all potential possibilities. Then, does that mean that we may also be availed our alternate selves as the legendary fixer, the arch-magnificence, the one and only... Red Mist? That is extremely unlikely, but I will not completely dismiss the possibility. Please, for the love of God, do not give Don Quixote a Red Mist identity. That will make me so upset. The extended range, I suppose, could be defined by worlds affected by entities that were indispensable to the current formation of this current state of the world. An example of that would be the Lobotomy Corporation headquarters prior to the White Nights and Dark Days incident. In some ways, your words sometimes find a roundabout way to the truth, Don Quixote. I didn't know who this Red Mist was, nor did I know that White Nights and Dark Days was. But I could hazard a guess that they both must have been pretty significant, considering that Virgilius's face grew visibly tense as soon as they were mentioned. The sinners were unsettled too. We can conclude that this siren is no cause for immediate concern, then. No, it isn't. Consider it a festival that arrives once in a while, for now. Festival. Festive times. Our own is festive too. I don't know if I got all that, but this isn't what we've been waiting for, is it? No, we will continue to wait. The sinners sighed and groaned with disappointment as the newfound anticipation fizzled. Well, something did happen, but it wasn't something that could get us moving. I can see what a disappointment this might be to them. So, how do we stop that green light from flashing? It will turn itself off when Dante extracts something from the engine. Do not worry. Right, back to business all. Dante, extract something and turn that alarm off. WAD. We'll just be running more dungeons through the back door with whatever new thing they pull anyway. True! Still, this leisureliness is a very rare opportunity, isn't it? Blessed be the patient ones, or so it is said. Every sinner says their piece before returning to their seats. Some of them walk out of the cabin to gaze at the lake. It's something they must be growing a tad tired of doing at this point. Maybe they're just going out for a long sigh. And Otis walked up to me. Are you not worried, Executive Manager? Huh? About what that mad scientist said. For now. There has to be more to that statement. Should I investigate this matter further? Otis was right. While Faust did tell us to consider this nothing more than a festival that arrives once in a while, she definitely knew more than she was letting on. But if Faust speaks of something in her characteristically cryptic manner, it means that she'll never tell us until she wants to. Well, it does bother me a little, but right now we don't have a lot of options. Let's just put a pin in it for now. I mean, that's not an answer. Otis nodded affirmatively, bowed, and returned to her seat. Well, let's get extracting like Faust said.